It's the week when the world slows down. Holiday lights still twinkle, fireworks wait just over the horizon. But behind the festive glow, there's a strange and chilling pattern.
I just took her blood pressure.
I'm just wondering about her medical history. Does she have any other serious medical history?
I have to let you know the doctor is here.
A time meant for rest and reflection has, for some stars, marked their final curtain call.
Her value and what she brought, not just to Star Wars, but to all of our lives. I'll miss her.
In the days between Christmas and New Year, Hollywood has lost some of its brightest names, quietly, unexpectedly, and sometimes without warning.
Who's gone this year? It just feels like it's been just a crazy year for music all the way around.
Brace yourself for the chilling truth behind celebs who died between Christmas and New Year. Christmas morning, 1977. Charlie Chaplin died in his sleep at his home in Corsier-sur-Vevey, Switzerland. Stroke. He was 88 years old. Charlie Chaplin invented cinema as we know it, The Little Tramp. Silent films that made the world laugh and cry without a single word. City Lights, Modern Times, The Great Dictator. Films that are still studied, still watched, still relevant a century later. Charlie lived a long, complicated life. He was a genius. He was also a womanizer who married teenagers, got exiled from America during the Red Scare, and spent his final years in Switzerland. He won an honorary Oscar in 1972, his first time back in the U.S. in 20 years. He got a 12-minute standing ovation. By 1977, Charlie was frail, nearly blind, confined to a wheelchair. But his mind was sharp. He spent Christmas Eve with his family, his wife Una, his 8 children, his grandchildren. They sang carols, exchanged gifts, celebrated together. That night, Charlie went to bed. He never woke up. He died in his sleep, peacefully, on Christmas morning. 3 months later, 2 men dug up his coffin and stole his body. They demanded ransom from Una. She refused. Charlie would have found this ridiculous, she said. The men were caught. Charlie's body was recovered and reburied in a theft-proof concrete vault. Even in death, Charlie Chaplin's life was absurd, dramatic, and unforgettable. He died on Christmas Day, the day of joy. Charlie spent his life giving joy to millions. Seems fitting. Christmas Day 2006, James Brown died in his hospital room in Atlanta, congestive heart failure, pneumonia. His body had been failing for months, but James kept performing, kept touring, kept working. He was 73 years old. His friend Charles Bobbitt was with him at the end. James looked at him and said, "I'm going away tonight." Then he took 3 long breaths and closed his eyes. That was it. The godfather of soul was gone. James Brown invented funk. That's not hyperbole. Before James, there was no funk. He created it. Papa's got a brand new bag. I got you, I feel good. Get up off of that thing. Songs that made it impossible to sit still. Music that changed everything. But James was complicated. He was a genius and a tyrant. He beat his wives. He was arrested multiple times. He was generous and cruel, brilliant and destructive. He lived hard, worked harder, and never stopped. His last performance was in New Jersey, 4 days before he died. He could barely stand. His band had to help him off stage, but he performed. Because that's what James did. They held his funeral at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Thousands of people lined up to pay respects. Al Sharpton gave the eulogy. Michael Jackson showed up. The casket was gold. James would have loved it. He died on Christmas Day, the day of giving. James gave the world funk, soul, and the blueprint for every performer who came after him. Not a bad legacy. Christmas morning, 2016. George Michael's boyfriend Fadi Fawaz woke up in the guest bedroom of George's house in Goring-on-Thames. He went to check on George. The bedroom door was closed. He knocked. No answer. George was lying in bed, peaceful, like he was sleeping, but he wasn't breathing. He'd been dead for hours. Heart failure, dilated cardiomyopathy. His heart had just given out in the middle of the night. He was 53 years old. The world found out later that day, Christmas Day, social media exploded. People couldn't believe it. Not George Michael, not on Christmas.
So it's to have him on top of everyone else who's gone this year, it just feels like it's been just a crazy year for music all the way around.
George had spent decades battling his demons. The fame from Wham! Nearly destroyed him. Last Christmas became one of the most played holiday songs ever, but George hated what it represented. The manufactured pop star, the closeted gay man pretending to be straight for teenage girls. When he came out in 1998, after getting arrested in a public bathroom, he thought his career was over. Instead, he became free. He stopped hiding, started living. But the damage was done. Depression, drugs, loneliness. George spent his last years mostly alone in that big house.
I feel stupid and I feel reckless and weak for having allowed my sexuality to be exposed this way, but I don't feel any shame whatsoever, and neither do I think I should.
His final album, released in 2014, was called Symphonica, live orchestral versions of his greatest hits. The last track, a cover of Let It Be. George's voice, tired but beautiful, singing about finding peace, and he found it on Christmas morning, the holiday he'd soundtracked for millions of people. Last Christmas played in stores and on radios while the news broke. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Two days after George Michael, December 27, 2016. Carrie Fisher died at UCLA Medical Center after 4 days in intensive care. She was 60 years old. Carrie had been on a flight from London to Los Angeles on December 23rd. 15 minutes before landing, she stopped breathing. Cardiac arrest. Passengers performed CPR. Flight attendants used a defibrillator. They got her heart beating again, but the damage was done. Her brain had been without oxygen for too long. She never woke up. Her daughter Billie Lourd held her hand as the machines were turned off.
Her value and what she brought, not just to Star Wars, but to all of our lives. I'll miss her.
Carrie Fisher played Princess Leia. Everyone knows that. But Carrie was so much more than Star Wars. She was a brilliant writer. Postcards from the Edge, based on her own life, her own struggles with addiction and mental illness. She didn't hide it. She talked openly about being bipolar, about drug abuse, about Hollywood's treatment of women. In her last interview, just weeks before she died, Carrie was asked if she had any regrets. She laughed. "I don't have time for regrets. I'm too busy being fabulous." That was Carrie, sharp, funny, honest. She'd survived addiction, electroshock therapy, failed marriages, Hollywood's impossible standards. She'd turned her pain into art, into humor, into hope for other people struggling. Her final film, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, was released a year after her death. The last scene shows Leia, alive, hopeful. Carrie never got to see it. She died 2 days after Christmas, while the world was still reeling from George Michael. December 28, 2016. One day after Carrie. Debbie Reynolds was at her son Todd's house in Beverly Hills, planning Carrie's funeral. She'd been holding it together, greeting visitors, making arrangements, being strong. That's what Debbie did. She was always strong. Then around 1 p.m. she told Todd, "I miss her so much. I want to be with Carrie." Minutes later she collapsed. Stroke. Massive. Todd called 911. But he knew. He'd just watched his mother decide to die.
I just took her blood pressure.
I'm just wondering about her medical history. Does she have any other serious medical history?
I have to let you know the doctor is here.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. We'll be there shortly, okay?
Okay.
Debbie Reynolds was 84 years old. She'd been in show business for 70 years. Singing in the Rain made her a star at 19. She'd survived Eddie Fisher leaving her for Elizabeth Taylor, one of the most public humiliations in Hollywood history. She'd survived bankruptcy, bad marriages, health problems. She'd survived everything. But she couldn't survive losing Carrie. The medical term is broken heart syndrome, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Extreme emotional stress can literally damage your heart. Debbie's heart couldn't take it. She had a stroke and died within hours. Todd Fisher told the press later, "She wanted to be with Carrie. She didn't want to be here anymore." They had a joint funeral, mother and daughter, buried together at Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Carrie's ashes were placed in a giant Prozac pill-shaped urn, because of course they were. That's what Carrie would have wanted. 3 deaths in 4 days, George Michael on Christmas, Carrie Fisher 2 days later, Debbie Reynolds the next day. The holiday week from hell. New Year's Eve, 2013. James Avery died in a Los Angeles hospital from complications after open-heart surgery. He was 68 years old. James played Uncle Phil on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. For 6 seasons, he was the stern but loving father figure to Will Smith's character. Uncle Phil was tough, principled, and caring. He represented everything Will's character needed: stability, wisdom, love. James wasn't Uncle Phil. He was a classically trained actor, Shakespeare, drama, serious theater. But Uncle Phil made him famous, made him beloved. Kids who grew up in the 90s saw James Avery as a father figure, especially black kids who didn't see many positive portrayals of black fathers on TV.
How come he don't want me, man?
When James died, Will Smith posted a tribute. He called James his second father, said James taught him how to be a man. The rest of the cast shared similar stories. James was the real deal, kind, generous, professional. His last role was voicing Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. He'd been doing voice work for years: Gargoyles, Iron Man, dozens of animated shows. James worked until the end. He died on New Year's Eve, the night of celebration and new beginnings. James Avery spent decades playing father figures, mentors, and wise men. He was all those things in real life too. The world lost a good one. New Year's Eve 2015. Natalie Cole died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Congestive heart failure. Her heart, damaged by years of drug use and a kidney transplant, finally gave out. She was 65 years old. Natalie was Nat King Cole's daughter. That's a hell of a legacy to live up to. Her father was one of the greatest voices in music history. Natalie spent her whole life in his shadow. She won 9 Grammys, sold millions of records, had hit after hit. But people always compared her to Nat. In 1991, she released Unforgettable with Love, an album of her father's songs. The title track used technology to make it sound like Natalie was singing a duet with her dead father. It was beautiful and eerie and heartbreaking. The album won 7 Grammys.
Unforgettable.
But Natalie struggled. Heroin addiction in the 70s and 80s nearly killed her. She got clean, relapsed, got clean again. In 2008, she was diagnosed with hepatitis C, likely from drug use decades earlier. She needed a kidney transplant. Her sister donated one. The transplant worked, but it weakened her heart. By 2015, Natalie was sick. Really sick. She kept performing anyway. Her last concert was in November. She could barely walk off stage. She died on New Year's Eve, the night everyone celebrates. Natalie spent it in a hospital room, her heart failing, her family around her. She'd spent her life trying to step out of her father's shadow. In the end, she joined him. New Year's Day, 1953. Hank Williams was found dead in the back seat of his Cadillac in Oak Hill, West Virginia. His driver, Charles Carr, had pulled over to check on him. Hank had been sleeping for hours too long. He wasn't sleeping. He was dead. Heart failure, alcohol, pills. Hank's body had been failing for years. He was 29 years old. Hank Williams created modern country music. Your Cheatin' Heart, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, Hey, Good Lookin', songs that still play on every country station in America, songs that defined heartbreak, loneliness, and loss. Hank lived fast and died young. Chronic back pain from a childhood injury led to alcohol and morphine addiction. He was married twice, fired from the Grand Ole Opry for being drunk on stage, and banned from performing in several states. But he kept writing, kept singing, kept pouring his pain into music. His last recording session was in September 1952. He could barely stand. His voice was weak, strained, but he recorded, I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive. The title turned out to be prophetic. He died 4 months later. Hank was on his way to a New Year's Day concert in Canton, Ohio. He never made it. They found him in the back seat, wearing his cowboy hat, clutching a bottle of whiskey. The concert went on anyway. They put an empty spotlight on the stage where Hank would have stood, 29 years old. Gone on New Year's Day, the day of new beginnings, Hank never got his. New Year's Eve, 2021, going into New Year's Day 2022. Betty White died in her sleep at her home in Los Angeles. Stroke. She was 99 years old, 17 days away from her 100th birthday. The world had been preparing to celebrate. People magazine had already printed a special issue for her 100th. A documentary about her life was set to premiere in theaters on her birthday. Everything was ready. Betty never made it.
She was not only a golden girl, she was a legend who brightened every room she walked in and brought a smile to the faces of all who watched her on the screen, and day in and day out for almost a century.
She'd been in show business for 80 years. 80 years. She started in radio in the 1930s. She was on television before most people owned televisions. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, The Golden Girls, Hot in Cleveland. 8 decades of making people laugh. Betty was sharp until the end, still working, still doing interviews, still cracking jokes. In her last interview, she was asked about her longevity. She said, "Don't take yourself too seriously, and vodka helps." That was Betty. Funny, self-deprecating, real. She loved animals more than people. She said that openly. She donated millions to animal causes. She'd rather spend time with her dogs than at Hollywood parties. When she died, the internet broke. Tributes poured in from everyone, presidents, actors, regular people who'd grown up watching her. Betty White was one of those rare people everyone loved. No scandals, no drama. Just 99 years of being kind, funny, and genuine. She almost made it to 100, almost. But she died on New Year's Day as the world was celebrating a fresh start. Betty got her own kind of fresh start. They say time stands still between Christmas and New Year, but for these celebrities it stopped forever. Whether it was fate, illness, or tragic circumstance, each of these lives ended during a season meant for joy. And somehow that makes their loss feel even heavier. Which of these deaths surprised you the most? Or is there someone we didn't include that you think deserves to be remembered? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss stories like these. We're just getting started. More tributes, mysteries, and chilling Hollywood timelines are coming soon. Thank you for watching.